This episode, refinishing my taillight bezels, including your headlight bezels, to look brand new. Let's go. Welcome back to Fast Monty's Garage. Yeah, as you saw, I'm restoring my rear taillight bezels. They are repops. They're not brand new, but the paint is totally chipping off of it and it's driving me nuts. So I thought it'd be a great idea to show you guys what I went through to restore my original headlight bezels, because any of you that have a classic car probably have some component on it or trim piece that's made of pot metal. Pot metal is a really porous molded metal that they used back in the day because they had these artisans that would make these killer molds for parts like this. The issue is as that metal gets old, it does decay, it oxidizes and starts to leave pot marks, actually little bubbles. And if you have one of those on an edge that's chrome, exposed chrome, it's nearly impossible to fix. Is it fixable? Yes, but you better bring a big fat wad of money to whoever's doing that, because the process requires drilling it out, brazing metal back in there, chroming it, and sometimes the chroming process makes other air bubbles pop. It's a nightmare. So plan B is to buy new ones that are repops. These are repops. They're not 100% accurate. And mine had oxidation or issues on the exposed chrome. I was lucky on my headlights because these bezels on a 69 GTO are not available as repops. You have to find the original. I don't have hideaway headlights. That would be plan B for me, but these are the original and I restored them, and I'm going to go through that process today to show you some tips and tricks so you can restore yours, assuming your exposed chrome is okay and doesn't have any pitting or potting, because that's, like I said, nearly impossible to fix. Now, I haven't done a refinish job on the channel in a long time, so those of you that have been subscribers longer than 2 years old, you're probably going, oh, finally, you're painting again. So yeah, I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff here today. If I've ever helped you out, consider getting a hat, shirt, Full Monty Club right down there, and subscribe if you haven't, because subscribing is free. So let's go ahead and jump to the workbench and show you what materials you might need for your job. Here we go. Now let's start with the important part, is the paint. I love this stuff. I'll leave part numbers below, but this has one of the best finishes and you don't need primer. And that's what I used on the headlight bezels. That's what I used on my grill. That's what I used on the black spoiler, front spoiler I have, or chin spoiler, and it all matches. It looks fantastic. It looks OEM. I love it. So we're going to play with this today, and you don't need primer. So that's awesome. Now, some other things you're going to need. You're going to need a degreaser. I have this House of Color degreaser. I use it all the freaking time if you guys have seen me paint. We're also going to use some steel wool. This is quadruple knot steel wool. It'll make sense at the end of the video, trust me. Probably need a stir stick, a new thing that wasn't available a long time ago. Plastic razor blades. These are going to come in handy. Red Scotch-Brite. This is like 300 grit sandpaper. It gets in the nooks and crannies. I'll explain that as we go. And obviously some masking tape, but most importantly on this particular part, we need a very fine tape, and this is fine line tape. This is 1/4 inch thickness. You can get it in different thicknesses, like this is like 1/16 of an inch. This is also from a House of Color fine line tape, and that's what the basics you'll need. You may also need Bondo. So when I mentioned earlier, if you get those pot marks or those weird areas of decay on the painted surface, you can file it down or sand it down flush and use Bondo. Then you Bondo it in, you sand it flush. That you have to prime. Anytime you use when you use Bondo, it acts like a sponge with paint. So you have to prime it. You probably have to prime it a couple times. I would use sandable primer as your final prime, and then sand it flush, then paint it. Very important step. That's the same thing with auto body. You have to prime the hell out of body filler because it's like a sponge. So let's get going. You're also going to need paper towels. I totally forgot, but you need to clean this whole thing first before we start sanding. You don't want to embed any oils while you're sanding. So make sure it's fully degreased and clean. And then the next step is actually on this particular part. You notice how it's chrome on this entire lip. We have to tape that off before we start sanding because we do not want to scratch or dull that chrome surface. So that is the tedious part of the whole job, because that's where this fine line tape comes into play. This is vinyl tape. So if I can find the edge, be very careful with it. You don't want to yank this off the roll because it will stretch, and then if it stretches back to its normal shape, it deforms and you might miss a spot. So I would also get scissors to cut this to length when you're applying it, and I'll show you real quick or midway through my application of what it looks like. Kill the bug, love it. I try to do straight edges in one complete piece. And the thing I love about vinyl tape is you can put it down, you can kind of look at it, you can peel it back, put it back down, and it will turn. So if you pivot, I'm over exaggerating, if you pivot either way, while you're pressing down, you can turn the tape. Because this is not a perfectly straight edge, because it's a repop. That's one of my complaints, is it's not perfectly straight. But I'm also trying to leave a gap from that bottom edge, because if I get the tape on that flat edge and you paint it and you peel the tape off, it's gonna probably peel the paint with it. So I'm leaving a tiny gap at the bottom of the 90-degree area. Like I said, cut it. All of us have a tendency to rip tape off. That stretches it at the point of break. You don't want to do that with the vinyl tape. And these crazy corners, you can sometimes get it to curve just like that. This is where your plastic knife or blade comes in handy. You can press it against the corner and get it to lay down. The other thing you want to do with your plastic blade is use it as a squeegee and make sure it's pressed nice and tight in that corner, because you don't want any paint to bleed. That's the other beauty of vinyl tape. If you put it on correctly, paint won't bleed underneath it. That's why it's used for pinstriping and all that stuff. Oh yeah, it's tedious, but I think you get the point. So I'm going to finish the taping, then we can get to sanding. And in case you're wondering, the outer edge is easier than the inner edge. You can pretty much quickly lay it down. You might need to wear your readers like I'm reading, old guys. I was going to show you this trick at the end of the video, but can you guys see the paint that's on the chrome lip right there? It's a little too high. So in order to get that paint off before you tape, because I want to tape down to that edge, this is where that steel wool trick comes in handy. I was going to show this off at the end, but we're going to do it now. So wrap something sharp like my plastic blade and go to town. And the steel wool, the quadruple knot steel wool, will actually polish the chrome and take the paint off that surface. Just like that. Oh yeah. Now I get to do the whole thing on my own. All taped up, we are good to go. I went around all the edges with my plastic razor, make sure it's squeegeed out. And this is when the fun begins. You need to take something to etch whatever surface you're gonna paint. I don't care if it's chrome, I don't care if there's already paint on there. You have to etch it before you paint anything. Doesn't matter if it's a car part, doesn't matter if it's outdoor furniture. And most importantly, something to remember, even with masking tape, you can sand over the tape, just like this. But you need to make sure you dull that chrome area that's exposed. You need to make sure you fully etch that pre-existing paint. If you see pre-existing paint that starts to come off, go even further, because you need to make sure no paint comes off underneath your paint. And most importantly, on top of the most importantly, the nooks and crannies. Because if you miss a nook or you miss a cranny, it's going to come back to haunt you, because that's where paint will start to peel out over time and just ruin your whole paint job. So take your time, be tedious, get creative. Like I have a screwdriver that I broke and it's kind of dull, and I actually wrap this around it and I can go in between tight spaces. So that's what I'm going to do. It's tedious, yes, I know, guys. And then if you have like dents like this, I actually backed into a pole and my bumper hit this. Yeah, long story. I'm going to try and sand this out with some more rougher sandpaper. If I can't, we're going to do the Bondo trick. Okay, update for you. This groove, I was able to wrap my plastic knife with the Scotch-Brite and get in that groove. Worked out perfectly. And while we're here, this is that area where I hit it with the bumper. I actually took my mini belt grinder and polished that smooth for the most part. There's a tiny crack right there. We'll see if the paint covers that. On the other side, however, I had to get a sanding block that had this curvature in it, use 320 grit, and as you can tell, went through it. And what you do with any sanding block is you go sideways with the sanding block, make like an X pattern. So I got that really smooth. Now on the bottom, I left one intentionally, because if you're doing this, and you should be wearing gloves at this point, by the way. You don't want fingerprints and the oil from your fingers contaminating your smooth, clean surface. But if you run your finger over defects like that, you shouldn't be able to feel it. I can feel that one. I did that on purpose. I want to show you guys how it looks after you paint it. And lastly, you want to clean it again with the degreaser. Use a white paper towel, preferably a lint-free cloth, but you want to keep doing it until it's perfectly clean. But now we can go hit the paint booth. Oh, before you do that, actually go out in the sunlight. You can see defects and retape where you need to. Now you can see there's a gap in the tape here. I did that on purpose, and you're going to see why in a second, but make sure your tape is down and we'll go from there. Now we can go hit the paint booth. I'm just kidding, I don't have a paint booth. If you guys seen in my prior videos, yes, I've put up a low-cost paint booth. Go check it out. Very handy, very low cost, but I don't need one here. I got my cold case paint booth. Yeah. So we're gonna do 2 medium wet coats, 5 minutes between each coat, and be right back. Been about 5 minutes since the last coat. This is when you take the tape off, and this is the fun part. There we go. Cross everything you have 2 of. Oh yeah, baby. Very nice. Oh yeah, I love it. So this is that spot. I use the curved sanding block, and let's turn it around. Where I had the bumper damage, you can kind of see it, because that's where I hit it with that grinder. I could have spent some more time on that, but again, not a big deal. The bumper actually comes in this part, and I got, look at that. See that little spot? I'd be well into bet. I sweat I drop of sweat got there. I didn't clean it enough. No big deal. That other spot that we talked about that was going to be rough is right there. You can see it. It's right there. This one I didn't put enough paint down, I guess, but you can definitely see that one. And a couple right there. Again, not big deal, you're not going to see it. But I wanted to show you guys, if there's any kind of little defect, paint will show it off. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what in the heck happened with that part of tape that wasn't covered? You guys probably noticed the black that's on the chrome because the tape was not covered at the top. This is where the paint stick and that quadruple knot stainless steel comes into play. I mean, steel wool. Look at that. Cleans it right off. So go ahead and hit the top all the way around. Whew, damn, that looks good. Woo-wee. That's the trick to get the paint off. All right, guys, I think we just stumbled across what black was used on my wheels. Those are MHT US Mags Bandits. And oh my God, I can't wait to get these on the back and see how it all comes together. All right, team, I couldn't resist. This is looking bitchin' in the sunlight. Yes, it's green if you guys didn't know, but look at that. Oh yes. Looking sick. Yes, chrome is making a comeback, boys and girls. Just the right amount. Whew, man. I miss driving her. Can't wait to see you guys out on the road. Let's go. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit tedious, but it's worth it in the end, as you can tell. Yeah, I can't wait to show it off, baby. Now, next episode, we're gonna get back to fan testing, 16-inch battle. Yeah, stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, build them fast, drive them faster. See ya. Oh man.